Welcome to our continuing YouTube video series on employment law, focusing primarily on termination and severance pay. My name is Christopher Neufeld of Neufeld Legal, and in this particular video, I'm going to be discussing my perspective on the fact that hourly employees working for large companies in Alberta seem to be one of the most impacted groups that really need to take control and to challenge, where appropriate, the pay arrangements that are being put forth by their former employers when they're terminated. Now, this is not an across-the-board statement because there's variances between these large companies. However, what I've been starting to discern is that there is this peculiar trend where the large employers are operating even more egregiously with respect to their hourly employees with respect to underpayments. And this is a very serious concern. And at the same time, it very much appears that whether the employers know it or not properly, that the individuals who are getting the greatest impact, and this is a negative impact, are the hourly employees that are working for these large companies. So what we're talking about is, it's not even from a tactical standpoint. Well, it's from a tactical standpoint, but it's from an overall standpoint where tens of thousands, upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars can be found to have been left on the table and not properly addressed. Some of it might be addressed. A lot of it is not being addressed when the employee gets terminated by their employee and they find themselves out and they find themselves needing to make a determination as to what they should be expecting, what they should go back to their former employer and say, this is what I deserve. And the truth of the matter is, it seems that there's a lot of stuff being overlooked by a lot of lawyers. They're focusing on the one part, but they're not focusing on everything that they should be focusing. And this, in my estimation, is a major tactical error and something that you should not be allowing yourself to be drawn into and simply pushing stuff out and not addressing certain key aspects that need to be properly addressed. Because without addressing that, not only are you losing, in my estimation, a significant amount of money outright, but you're also losing a lot of your tactical advantage or negotiating power by not having this properly addressed. And you really need to address it. And from the perspective of the hourly employee who's making relatively good money, it doesn't matter if you're working the oil and gas services side, directly in the oil and gas exploration and production side. You could be working for a larger company in the telecommunications side, in the airlines industry, a range of different companies. Typically not unionized companies, but we're looking at non-unionized companies. And you're leaving yourself exposed to a significant degree. And you're not pursuing what, in at least my professional estimation, is what you're rightfully entitled to. And by not pursuing that aspect, by not aggressively addressing it, and not even raising it properly, you're severely impacting yourself. And the other aspect that this goes to is that people oftentimes say, well, I'm not going to address this issue to the degree I would otherwise address something because I don't want to get a bad reputation. And I can fully understand that concern. The key is that if you have nothing to stand on or little to stand on, and you're simply creating a fight for the sake of creating a fight, yes, that creates a bad reputational position. However, if there's more to it and there's a legitimacy behind it, and this is what is actually happening, is there's a legitimate rationale for seeking out more, and that provides you important cover and protection from a reputational standpoint. Well, if you can address the reputational aspect as well and create that legitimacy, then the impact is not going to be as great, even though you are probably going to end up getting far more money out of your former employer than if you wouldn't take this course of action. But it's something you have to contemplate, something you should consider, and ask yourself, am I doing the best for what I can do? And have I properly considered the implications, the repercussions? Because there are repercussions, but have I found ways to insulate myself against the repercussions, the negative blowback, the negativity, the impression it's going to give? Because if your lawyer can demonstrate to you there are ways to cut this, to actually, in some circumstances, to actually flip it on its end, it could well show you that there is an opportunity there for you to pursue it. And it's not in all cases, it's just in some cases, but in a lot of cases. And it's in particular with respect to hourly employees working at large companies in the province of Alberta who are making a substantial amount of money and been with the companies that they're with for a long period of time. We're not talking about, unfortunately, we're not talking about somebody who's making minimum wage. It's only been there for 6 to 8 months. We're talking about somebody who's been with one of the larger oil and gas companies, been working at that company for 5, 10, 15 years, and has been pulling down a total pay of anywhere from $80,000, $90,000, $120,000, even upwards of $160,000, $180,000. That is where people do not oftentimes realize, and it seems like even more so the lawyers sometimes don't even realize the implications of not going after certain aspects. They haven't addressed it, because if this had been properly addressed, there would be significant system-wide changes across the employment system, and that has not happened. And that is what shows to ourselves, and myself personally, that there are significant issues that are allowing employers, knowingly or unknowingly, to undercut their employees, and in particular those employees who are working on an hourly basis and are at the greatest risk of being financially deprived well beyond what they should be looking at. And as well, by addressing it in a manner where we contemplate and we approach, we're able to insulate better those employees when they challenge their former employer, and we're able to moderate, if not reverse, the negative implications that would otherwise come out of challenging one's former employer. So, as we say in all our videos, the facts and circumstances of one's particular employment situation are going to play a great role in identifying whether or not these kind of strategies even work for yourselves. And they might not. But what we're seeing is that they have far greater application, that they have far broader application, and there's far more employees that are being impacted than seems to have been realized by the industry as a whole across the province of Alberta. And this actually probably goes beyond the province and across the country. So we'll leave it at that. And if you're looking for someone who is interested in giving you a free initial assessment, letting you understand where you might well stand with respect to this kind of situation anywhere across the country, but in particular in Alberta, please do not hesitate to contact myself. And in the strictest confidence, we'll take an analysis and provide yourself with our perspective. And even if you've taken your termination and severance pay package, even if you've signed a release, there are potentially opportunities there to address the situation. But you have to do it within the applicable statute of limitations time period. But more importantly, you have to be willing to open ourselves up to what we're looking for, listening clearly, understanding what we're looking for, and understanding the specific nature and proprietary of what we are presenting. So I hope you found this YouTube video enlightening. I understand we don't throw out all the information in this video. We don't want to get people's hopes up too high, and at the same time, a lot of it is, we believe is special proprietary information that we're willing to share with you, but in a manner that serves yourself and ourselves in the same manner. Thank you very much, and we look forward to talking to you again in further YouTube videos.